This is an iMac that I literally found on the street. And no, this video isn't scripted. I didn't buy this machine online, I just found it. I have no idea what this computer has been through or why it ended up in a place meant only for trash. So in this video, we're opening it up and uncovering whatever secrets are hiding inside. What still works? What's broken? And the biggest question of all, can I turn a discarded iMac into a real gaming machine? Let's find out. The first thing you'll notice is the dust, and I mean a lot of dust. It's caked onto every surface. Alright, I won't make you stare at this mess for too long. I should probably be careful myself or I'm gonna end up with lung problems. After cleaning it up, everything already looks way better. As for my first real impression, my back hurts. This thing is insanely heavy. It feels like it's carved out of a solid block of steel. And if you're wondering what I mean by unibody, this is a perfect example. It's an iMac, where the computer and the display are all built into a single chassis. Alright, let's crack it open and see what's inside. I'll need a little trick to remove the front glass. Oh no, there's serious rust inside. It looks like this thing was exposed to moisture for a long time. Luckily, most of the corrosion is along the metal edges. The display panel itself still looks intact. That's actually a good sign. I'm not powering it on yet. First, I'm tearing everything down to check for moisture. Honestly, I'm kind of excited. It feels like nobody has opened this before it was tossed in the trash. That said, I hate working on Apple products. They're built like tanks, with an absurd number of screws. Surprisingly, once inside, things are much cleaner than the outside suggested. No major corrosion, that's a huge relief. I do spot a few damp areas though, so everything is coming out for a proper clean. And because I'm genuinely curious about Apple's internal design. Up here, we've got two 4GB laptop RAM sticks. Disconnecting all these cables is a nightmare, so I'm recording everything on my phone before unplugging it. At the top, there's a 640GB HDD. Not bad. If this were 15 years ago. There's also a DVD drive. On both sides, we've got speakers, but the speaker membranes are torn, which definitely hurts audio quality. Let's keep going. The cooling system looks very laptop-like. The CPU is actually a removable laptop CPU, which surprised me. I don't know the exact model yet. There's not much info on the chip itself. There's also a dedicated GPU, and while I'm here, I'll replace the old thermal paste. I won't mess with it too much for now. That's pretty much all the major components. And for anyone wondering, yes, this is the power supply. Before powering anything on, I'll dry every corner of the motherboard with a heat gun and give this filthy blower fan a deep clean. Only then, we'll see if this thing still has a pulse. After everything was completely dry and cleaned, I started putting the machine back together. That process took a long time, so I'll cut straight to the finished build. Now comes the moment of truth. I hook up the display, plug in the power, and hit the button. Oh my god. That classic macOS startup chime. That sound alone tells me the system is still alive, but the screen stays black. Yeah, that instantly made me nervous. So I went back in, cleaned the contacts, carefully reseated the display connectors, and crossed my fingers. One more reboot. Oh my god. The screen turns on. I see the logo. Since it's still running on an old HDD, the boot process takes forever. Eventually, it asks for a keyboard and mouse. Looks like the drive doesn't even have an operating system installed. And honestly, there's no way I'm waiting on an HDD to load games anyway. So I swap in a SATA SSD with Windows already installed, just to get things moving. One clear limitation of this machine though, it only has one internal drive connection. If I want more storage, I'll have to rely on external ports. Not ideal, but at least now the machine is officially alive. Oh yeah, it powered on instantly, but right away something felt off. The display looked washed out with low contrast and dull colors, classic iMac faded screen vibes. At that point, I honestly couldn't tell if this was a hardware issue or just macOS doing something weird. Then came problem number 2. I couldn't get into Windows. I waited, and nothing. The system just hung there. My guess is this machine is simply too old to properly support newer Windows builds, which can easily lead to freezing during boot. So I tried a different approach. I installed an older version of Windows on another drive and used that to boot the system. And the result? I was genuinely surprised. The machine booted into Windows just fine. And even better, the display was back to normal. Full color, proper contrast, no more washed out look. What's happening here is pretty simple. Windows uses its own graphics driver and default color profile, usually standard sRGB, which completely ignores the broken or misconfigured color settings in macOS. That alone was enough to restore the panel's original contrast. So yeah, this whole revival honestly feels like a small miracle for an iMac that was basically left for dead. That said, time always leaves scars. Some things just don't clean off easily, like these rust marks. I tried using all-purpose cleaner, but it barely made a difference, so I had to bring out the sandpaper. And hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video so far, don't be shy. Drop a like and hit subscribe, it really helps the channel out. About 30 minutes later, with my arms completely dead, the rust was finally gone. Now it's time to put everything back together and clean the front glass so the machine actually looks presentable again. At this point, I'd say the restoration is about 99% complete. One thing worth mentioning, I replaced the original Apple HDD, which had a built-in temperature sensor, with a third-party drive. Because of that, the fans can get pretty loud since the system can't read the drive temperature anymore. My fix was simple. I installed max fan control, manually tuned the fan curve, and that significantly reduced the noise. Now let's check the specs. Inside, we have a Core 2 Duo T9800, just 2 cores, 2 threads, running at a fixed 2.9 GHz. It scores around 487 points multi-core and 245 single-core, which is exactly what you'd expect. RAM is fully recognized at 8 GB, so no issues there. But the real surprise? The GPU. This thing is running a GeForce GT 120. At first you might think, GT 120? Isn't that basically a GT 210? Funny enough, no. And this might surprise a lot of people. Despite the higher model number, the GT 210 is actually weaker than the GT 120 in raw performance. The GT 120 is based on the G96 core, essentially a rebranded GeForce 9500 GT. It has 32 CUDA cores and a 128-bit memory bus, which gives it noticeably higher memory bandwidth. But there's a big catch. It only has 256 megabytes of VRAM. Yeah, that's painfully small by today's standards, so I ran Heaven Benchmark just to see how bad it really is. At HD resolution, low settings, it managed around 22 frames per second. That result pretty much says it all. This GPU is running at the absolute end of its technological lifespan. At this level of performance, it's simply not capable of handling games from 2015 onward, even at the lowest settings. The hardware just doesn't have the resources anymore. That said, I'm not done yet. Even knowing all this, I still want to push it as hard as possible and see just how far it can go. No mercy. The GT 120 does support Pure Video HD, so HD video playback is actually pretty smooth. Even full HD works. That said, CPU usage shoots up past 90%, so you'll still see the occasional stutter. When I push it to 2K, the weaknesses become obvious. Frame drops, micro stutter, and even brief freezes in some scenes. At that point, it's clearly too much for this GPU. Realistically, 1080p is the sweet spot here. And honestly, running full HD 17 years ago was kind of what 4K feels like today. A serious workload for the hardware of its time. As for the speakers, I don't have much to complain about. For something this old, they still sound decent. Sure, there's a bit of distortion here and there because the speaker cones aren't in perfect shape anymore, but considering the age, the audio quality is better than I expected. Alright, now to the part I was waiting for the most, game testing. Since this GPU only supports DirectX 10, I'm sticking to older games. First up, CSGO at 1080p, lowest settings. FPS hovers around 20, and during intense firefights it gets noticeably choppy. Dropping the resolution down to 720p does help. FPS goes past 30, but it's still unstable with frame times all over the place. Next is Tomb Raider. I had to go all the way down to 800 by 600 just to make it playable. At that resolution, FPS sits around 60, but once the scene gets more complex, you still see frame drops. Then there's Minecraft at 1920 by 1200 with the lowest render distance. FPS can spike to over 100. Bumping it up to 8 chunks, it still holds around 60 FPS, though occasional drops are unavoidable. So overall, gaming on this 27-inch iMac from 2009 is pretty limited by today's standards. It's still perfectly fine for video playback and web browsing, but for gaming, it can only handle older titles. And even then, the experience isn't always smooth. Hope this video was entertaining. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.